So in today's video, we'll be taking a look at Sharad Hett and Ki-Adi-Mundi for the comic pack line for the Legacy Collection. So this is one of those sleeper comic packs, I think. In fact, I didn't even know about this until several years later. In fact, I was watching Darth Deuce's review of this that he did several years ago, and that was actually my first real exposure to Sharad Hett here. I do, or at the time I did know about the Sharad Hett pack, which I'll get into the story about the correlation between that pack and this pack later. But I never really saw this one, and it wasn't probably until, what was it, 2014 or 15, probably somewhere in that range when I first really discovered it. It's just one that I never saw at retail at the time. It was released in 2008, and it was in the white and blue Legacy Collection packaging, and it was carried over into the more red and white packaging that we saw later in the Legacy Collection, which is that version here with the red and white. I got this in 2018, and I only paid $40 for it, which, going on eBay and checking out some of the prices of it, I think I got a pretty good deal on it. And it was totally brand new, great condition, and it's a great pack overall. I really like it. I think to date, this is still the best Ki-Adi-Mundi that we've ever gotten in 3 3/4 inch scale. It's about the only scale we have them in right now. And for Sharad Hett here, so if you don't know who he is, obviously he is a Tusken, and he is a member of, I'm not sure which tribe it is, but he is the father of Sharad Hett, who eventually becomes Darth Krayt. I unfortunately do not have that pack. It's one I've been eyeing for many years now, ever since 2008, 2009. And there are times where I'm tempted to pull the trigger on it and go ahead and get one, and I see some okay deals for it. It's not the cheapest pack around, but certainly nowhere near the most expensive. If you find one brand new, you might be able to get in like the $50 range, which not the worst, but at the same time, it's like, do I really want to spend $50 right now? And it's just one I keep putting off. But I do plan on getting that someday, and of course, I'll do a review of that on this channel whenever I do. And as far as how Ki-Adi-Mundi is related to all this, Sharad Hett was one of Ki-Adi-Mundi's apprentices, or his Padawan. I don't know if that was his only Padawan. He may have gone through a couple throughout the years. I'll have to go back and read some of the EU novels and some comics as to what his backstory is. So what else can I say about this? I suppose we'll just go ahead and dive into the comic book here. It is a pretty good comic book. I have read through this a couple times. And it does take place on Tatooine. As you can see there, it looks like we got Ki-Adi-Mundi, I think. It is a sandstorm outfit, basically. Like here, with all the various Tuskens, the Bantha. It was comic book number 11. So it looks like we got Sharad Hett here, or a scene. Pretty nice artwork in here. Let's see here. Yeah, I think Urusine is on an assassination mission. And we got Ki-Adi-Mundi here. He's wearing that breath mask that you see in front of him there. Interesting thing is, even here in the comic, Ki-Adi-Mundi has the purple lightsaber, which we know in the films he ends up having a blue lightsaber, but I think that's kind of reminiscent to back during the Phantom Menace line when Hasbro packed him with a purple lightsaber. And I think that, if I recall correctly, they gave Mace Windu the blue lightsaber. And we got some action going on here. And Sharad Hett here comes in the picture. And after that little fiasco, looks like they're sitting around the campfire. So if I just giving a brief overview of this, I think Sharad Hett, he's obviously an outsider. He's not your typical Jedi. As you can see between the red lightsaber and how many Tusken Jedi are there out there. And he's kind of exiled himself. Going into some backstory for him. Looks like his master here was the same species as Agen Kolar, I was going to say. Looks like it's about the same. Maybe it was Agen Kolar. Koth. So perhaps Eth Koth was his master? I have to go back and read that. It's interesting seeing how all this stuff is connected, and just gives me that reminder as to how great the EU was. So Ki-Adi-Mundi is basically trying to convince Sharad to be a Jedi. And we can go back to Singh here, trying to assassinate. And we got a scene in Jabba the Hutt here, it looks like. Looks like Singh was being hunted as well. And we get to the end here. And then we got Sharad Hett here. And he basically says that while I am a Jedi, I'm also a Tusken, and I must defend this world. And we got them all here. And as we see, Sharad Hett has a red lightsaber here as well. But the action figure of him is with a green one. And some advertisements. The Mighty Mugs. I do have one. I have the Captain Rex one. I didn't know they were recycled material. These were kind of neat at the time. I think Darth Revan got one as well. Extra comics. Some more advertisements. Then advertising some of the Evolutions packs. And I have every single one of these. I have the Sith Legacy pack reviewed on the channel. I have Baltar Swan from the Jedi Legacy pack reviewed. I have Vader's Apprentice pack reviewed, and I do have the Fett Legacy pack here, which I will get to someday. So overall, pretty good comic book. I think this is one of the better ones. There's some nice artwork in it. So for the figures, we'll start with Ki-Adi-Mundi here. So I think the head sculpt here is pretty spot on. I don't think you can get much better than that for him. The proportions are right, the angles are right. You look at it from any perspective, and I can definitely tell that's Ki-Adi-Mundi. The paint looks really good. It's nice and crisp. I don't think Hasbro could do any better on that. Even in modern standards, I think if they just repack that head on a new Ki-Adi-Mundi figure, it'd be kind of hard to complain about that. And for his outfit here, obviously he's trekking through Tatooine here, so a little bit different of a garb than we normally see of him. Utilizes some plastic and some soft goods for his skirt here. The soft goods turned out really nice. Cut looks good. Nice material. And for his boots here. So part of the reason why I think this might be the best one as well is because of the articulation. It's to date, this is the most articulated Ki-Adi-Mundi we've gotten in 3 3/4 inch scale. He does have a ball joint at the head and his shoulders and elbows. I think the elbows go a little past 90 degrees, ever so slightly. Swivel forearms, and then swivel waist, and swivel hips, and then hinge knees, and no articulation to ankles. As far as I know, I think from the waist down, he's reutilizing parts from the Revenge of the Sith Ki-Adi-Mundi, and then everything up is totally new. So it's a nice reuse, and you can get him just about any pose you want. For weapons and accessories, he has a standard purple lightsaber, which we know is not 100% accurate. I still have the elastic band around it. That hilt looks like one that I've seen many times before. I think maybe General Grievous included one of those, and the blade was painted a different color. Nothing too unique about that, and I'm not even sure if that's truly Ki-Adi's hilt at all, or to be honest, I'm not even sure exactly what his hilt looks like. But it must not be anything too particular, because most of the really odd lightsaber hilts out there I've been pretty much made aware of at this point. Interesting straps around his boots as well. Other accessories, you saw he has his hat here, and it does have a strap around there. So it's basically a sun hat, and it fits perfectly over his head. Fits like a glove. Basically like a straw hat. And then we have this breathing apparatus here, probably to keep the dust out of his lungs. And the way you put that on is you just gotta pop his head off, which is fortunately pretty easy. Let's see here. You have to put it on just right, but once you have it on, it stays in the place pretty good. Similar to Darth Plagueis, although I think Ki-Adi stays in the place a lot better than Plagueis's did. It's not going to really droop or anything, and seems to hold on there, even if you rotate his head around. So that's Ki-Adi-Mundi here. Next we have Sharad Hett. Tell he's seen some action. Very ragged clothing. That nice, that nice Tuscan headgear there. Looks pretty good. And Looks like he has a bandolier and it has some pouches on it. Nice detailing on that. Blue tunic. His wrappings around his hands. He does have a hole on his belt there for a lightsaber, but he did not come with a removable or unignited lightsaber blade or lightsaber hilt. That option's there if you want to use it. And we have the rest of his wrappings. So for his articulation, it's perfect, or I wouldn't say perfect, but it's pretty good. I'll say that. I have no complaints about it. It is a little awkward, as you can see by his stance there. He does have a swiveled neck, actually. He does have a removable, not helmet, but headgear there. As you can see, he's got a nice, clean-shaven head. And his sculpt turned out pretty nice. Paint looks good. Kind of reminds me of like a Ramses or something like that in ancient Egypt. At least from the Ten Commandments film, that is. For the rest of the articulation, he does have hinge at the shoulders, swivel elbows, which in this case I think he would have benefited a little bit more from hinged elbows, but it's okay. And let's see here. I don't think he has swivel forearms at all. Or this one's a swivel. This one I can't really tell if it is or isn't. Yeah, it is. I've never really articulated it, so it's a little frozen in place. Swivel waist, and then swivel hips, and then hinge knees, and then no articulation in the ankles. Probably would have been beneficial for him as well, because you can see he's kind of got that bowed stance. But like I said, I don't personally have a big problem with it, but it's not what I would have preferred. For his accessories, obviously the helmet here, or the headgear, and his nice bright red lightsaber, very unusual for a Jedi. Again, not the most unique hilt in the world. I'm not sure if this is totally unique to Sharad Hett, but still looks pretty good. Nice silver. I still have the elastic band around it. Then he has his gaffy stick here, which we haven't gotten too many of those in the Hasbro line. Between this and actually this might be one of the few gaffy sticks we've gotten. I don't even know if most of the Tuscans we've gotten throughout the years have one. And the one that comes with Sharad Hett, you attach to his lightsaber, and I think it's a little bit different from this. It's kind of like this half of it, and that's it. But very nice to have this. Call in the Knights of the Old Republic video game, going around collecting all these and taking them to the Zerka office, trading for cash. So that's what I think of when I see it. He holds it in his hand pretty good. And you can get some nice poses out of him. So that's everything that's included with this pack. So would I recommend it for your collection? I would. Like I said, I think it's more on the pricey side of it now. I got this for $40, which, looking back on it, that was a really solid deal. I knew it was a good deal at the time, and I was probably not going to get much better than that, but it seems like now it's a really good deal. So if you manage to find it for a decent price, I would say jump on it. They're two solid action figures. Best Ki-Adi-Mundi to date, and this is the only version of Sharad Hett that we've gotten, and it's probably the only one we're ever going to get. I highly doubt we'll ever get a TVC release of him unless somehow in miracle happens, he wins a fan vote or something like that. If you really want for your collection, or if you have Sharad Hett and you want to complete the father and son duo, this is your only opportunity. If you get them loose, I'm not sure which one's more expensive than the other. In fact, I don't really find too many listings for this pack on eBay. Sometimes I get on, there's only like 1 or 2 listings. And as far as finding these guys individually, I've never really noticed it. But I'm sure it happens every now and then, so just keep an eye out on that. Overall, highly recommended set. Very nice action figures, still hold up very nicely today. It's just a great set overall, with some unique accessories at that. So anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be lots more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate your support. And check out some links in the description as well. As always, thanks for watching.